Money is energy. Money is emotion. Money is psychology. Money is spiritual alignment. And every dollar that flows into your life carries the vibration of your beliefs, your patterns, your expectations, and the identity you choose to live with. And when you finally understand that wealth is not just mathematics, but the spiritual science of alignment, intention, and inner congruence, your entire relationship with money transforms forever. Because the truth is, there are 7 hidden spiritual laws that govern your money, whether you know them or not. And the first law is the law of worthiness, the deep internal belief that you deserve abundance, that you deserve opportunities, that you deserve wealth, not because of luck, but because you are a creator, a contributor, a force for good. And if you don't believe you are worthy, money will slip out of your hands like water because you cannot receive what you subconsciously reject. And so every morning you must remind yourself that you are worthy of earning, keeping, growing, and expanding your wealth. The second law is the law of intention, the truth that money responds to clarity, direction, and deliberate energy. Because the universe does not reward confusion, hesitation, or mixed signals. It rewards boldness and certainty. So when you wake up knowing exactly what you want financially, why you want it, and what you are willing to commit to, the world bends to meet your clarity, and opportunities begin to appear where previously there were only obstacles. And the third law is the law of emotional safety, the spiritual reality that money requires you to feel safe receiving, holding, and expanding it, because money does not stay with a person who feels fear, guilt, shame, or anxiety around it, and your nervous system governs your financial thermostat more than your intelligence ever will, meaning if you want to expand your wealth, you must expand your emotional capacity to handle wealth without collapsing, without sabotaging, without shrinking, and without feeling unworthy. The fourth law is the law of contribution, the ancient truth that money flows to those who create more value than they take. And when you genuinely contribute, serve, elevate, and solve problems for the world responds with resources, opportunities, and wealth beyond what you could imagine. Because income is a reflection of the value you provide, not the hours you work or the luck you hope for. And the fifth law is the law of alignment, the principle that wealth only grows when your beliefs, your actions, and your identity match the level of abundance you seek. Because you cannot think poor, act small, and expect wealth. And you cannot carry the identity of someone struggling while trying to manifest the life of someone thriving. And so you must align your daily habits, your mindset, your emotional frequency, and your environment with the level of abundance you want to experience. And the sixth law is the law of expansion, the spiritual truth that money multiplies in spaces where growth is valued. And the moment you stop learning, growing, risk-taking, and evolving, your financial life stops expanding too. Because abundance requires momentum, and momentum requires growth. And the seventh law is the law of circulation, the understanding that money must move, circulate, and flow like water in order to return. Because when you hoard from fear, you block the channels of receiving. But when you invest wisely, give intentionally, spend consciously, and circulate money with trust instead of fear, it returns multiplied. And when these 7 laws begin to govern your daily life, something extraordinary happens. Your financial stress dissolves, your opportunities multiply, and money becomes not a burden, but a natural extension of your purpose, your impact, and your energy. Because wealth is attracted by clarity, protected by discipline, expanded by growth, and amplified by identity. And if you want to step into a higher dimension of abundance, you must begin by shifting the vibration of how you think, speak, and act around money. Telling yourself every morning that you are no longer a passive participant in your financial journey, but the conscious architect of your financial destiny. And as you repeat this speech to yourself daily, your nervous system begins to calibrate to abundance. Your subconscious begins to release old scarcity patterns. Your decisions become sharper. Your opportunities grow clearer. Your confidence deepens, and you begin to embody the emotional, spiritual, and psychological identity of someone who does not chase money but attracts it naturally, consistently, and effortlessly. Because money is not just a physical resource, it is an energetic partner responding to the level of certainty, intention, discipline, gratitude, and purpose you bring to it. And the moment you master these 7 spiritual laws, you stop hoping for wealth and start creating it deliberately through the power of your alignment, the clarity of your vision, the depth of your gratitude, and the strength of your identity. Because the wealth you desire is not outside of you, it is inside you, waiting for you to elevate your beliefs, strengthen your habits, expand your capacity, and step into the highest version of yourself with courage, boldness, and complete emotional alignment. And once you do, your financial reality shifts permanently, because wealth is not something you chase. It is something you become aligned with from the inside out until the world begins to match the frequency of who you have become. And when that alignment locks into place, abundance becomes not an occasional visitor, but a permanent resident in your life. The fifth spiritual law of abundance teaches that the universe constantly responds to the level of personal responsibility you bring to your financial life. Because while many people hope money will magically appear, the universe does not reward hope. It rewards alignment, discipline, and intentional action. And when you begin treating your financial goals as a mission instead of a wish, the energy around you reorganizes, creating momentum, clarity, and attraction that wasn't available before. This is why certain people seem to attract opportunities effortlessly. They've aligned intention with behavior, and that consistency radiates a frequency of stability that the world naturally gravitates toward, pulling resources, people, and breakthroughs in their direction. If you truly want to unlock the spiritual blueprint of wealth, you must learn to listen to what your life is trying to tell you. Because every financial setback carries a message, every moment of lack carries a message, and every season of abundance carries a message. The ego interprets them emotionally through fear or insecurity, but the spirit interprets them energetically. And when you slow down enough to observe rather than react, you realize the universe isn't hurting you. It's refining you, preparing you to hold prosperity with wisdom rather than desperation. Money expands in environments where emotional honesty exists, because you cannot manifest abundance while lying to yourself about your habits, discipline, patience, or fears, and you cannot speak prosperity into existence while living in scarcity-based behaviors. This law demands that you become the kind of person capable of managing what you want, because if your habits contradict your desires, the universe withholds abundance not as punishment, but as protection, ensuring you do not sabotage what you are asking for. Another hidden law is the law of energetic exchange. Every time you invest in yourself through education, skill building, health, resilience, or emotional maturity, your internal value increases, and the universe responds by matching that investment through opportunities, connections, and unexpected breakthroughs, because energy flows where commitment grows. But this law also warns that when you withhold effort, avoid growth, or expect reward without contribution, the universe mirrors that stagnation back to you, keeping your financial reality stuck until you shift your identity. Wealth is also governed by the law of expansion, which states that money grows in the presence of purpose. When your goals are fueled by something bigger than ego, service, impact, contribution, generational change, the universe amplifies those intentions, because purpose acts as a multiplier, expanding the reach of every action you take. And that is why people with strong whys rise faster, because their goals have spiritual weight behind them. There is also the law of emotional neutrality, a principle that explains why emotionally reactive people struggle to maintain wealth. The universe rewards those who are stable under pressure, calm in uncertainty, and centered in chaos, because emotional neutrality creates clarity. And clarity leads to wise decisions, which lead to abundance. When money cannot control you, it begins to be drawn to you. You also must understand the law of circulation. Money must move to grow. Hoarding from fear creates energetic blockage, but conscious circulation through investing, giving, building, and expanding creates flow. And the universe responds to flow with more flow, multiplying what you are willing to release with trust. This is why generosity, when aligned with wisdom, becomes a magnet for prosperity. Another spiritual law is the law of alignment, which teaches that you will never receive what contradicts your identity. If you see yourself as unworthy, broke, unlucky, or destined to struggle, that identity becomes your financial ceiling, and no amount of external change can override a broken internal blueprint. Only when you align your self-image with abundance, confident, deserving, capable, intelligent, does the universe elevate your financial reality to match your belief. The universe also responds to the law of emotional integrity, meaning you must heal your relationship with money at the emotional level. Resentment toward the wealthy, shame about past mistakes, fear of risk, or guilt about wanting more all block abundance, because the universe will not deliver what you are emotionally rejecting. When you shift into gratitude, openness, and excitement, the energetic gates of prosperity unlock. Wealth is further influenced by the law of intentional focus. What you consistently think about expands, what you fear you attract, and what you avoid controls you. When your mind is focused on growth, solutions, learning, and opportunity. The universe aligns circumstances to support that direction, but when your mind is fixated on lack, doubt, or limitation, the universe reflects those frequencies back to you through stagnation or setbacks. Another law is the law of vibrational readiness, which states that abundance arrives only when you are spiritually, mentally, and emotionally ready to hold it. This readiness is built through discipline, humility, emotional strength, gratitude, and resilience. And when these qualities are in place, wealth arrives with ease because your energy is finally compatible with financial expansion. There is also the law of embodied belief, meaning you cannot merely say you believe in abundance. You must act like it, walk like it, think like it, make decisions like it, and live like it. When your behavior matches your beliefs, manifestation accelerates at a speed that feels supernatural. The universe also honors the law of compound energy, which mirrors the compound effect in finance. Small, consistent, energetic investments, reading, learning, saving, meditating, visualizing, practicing discipline accumulate spiritually until suddenly you experience a dramatic shift. A breakthrough that appears overnight but was actually built through months or years of energetic compounding. Another law influencing money is the law of elevated association. Your wealth is deeply tied to the people you surround yourself with. Being around small-minded, fearful, negative individuals lowers your vibration, but surrounding yourself with ambitious, disciplined, financially literate, and spiritually grounded people raises your energetic frequency, making abundance not just possible, but natural. Wealth also responds to the law of self-worth, which states that you will only attract opportunities that match how you value yourself. People with low self-worth settle for low income, toxic environments, and underpayment because they subconsciously believe they deserve no better. But when your self-worth rises, the universe upgrades your financial path accordingly. The universe further operates under the law of spiritual timing. What is meant for you will arrive when your energy, habits, identity, and mindset are fully aligned. Impatience blocks abundance because it signals mistrust, while patience keeps you open to receiving. Spiritual timing is never late, never early. It is always precise. Another law is the law of gratitude projection, which states that expressing gratitude before the blessing arrives accelerates its arrival because gratitude signals trust, and trust amplifies the speed of manifestation. Gratitude is the emotional language the universe hears most clearly. The universe also respects the law of courageous action, which teaches that abundance is activated not by thinking, but by stepping into discomfort. Courage sends a powerful, energetic signal that you are ready for growth, and the universe responds by rearranging circumstances to support your advancement. And finally, the deepest law of all is the law of legacy. Wealth multiplies when your intention is not just to improve your life, but to transform the lives of others, because legacy is a spiritual amplifier. When your vision includes contribution, healing, empowerment, and generational elevation, the universe supports you with a level of abundance that matches your level of purpose. And when you begin to understand the deeper spiritual mechanics behind money, you start realizing that the universe is not random in the way it distributes abundance. It follows patterns, frequencies, and laws that respond directly to your emotional, mental, and spiritual state, meaning wealth is never just about strategy, skill, or opportunity, but about the energy you bring to the world, the beliefs you hold, and the identity you embody every time you wake up. And once that truth sinks in, everything about the way you approach money changes, because you stop chasing it with desperation and instead attract it with alignment, confidence, certainty, and inner wholeness. And the more you embody this energy, the more powerful the flow becomes, like turning on a faucet that never runs dry because you finally connected to the source rather than the symptoms. You start to recognize that every thought you think is a vibration, every belief you hold is a magnet, and every decision you make signals your readiness to receive. And when these three align, thought, belief, action, the universe sends opportunities that match your level of energetic consistency, because consistency is proof of readiness, and readiness is what unlocks abundance. You begin to realize that money is a mirror showing you your internal world. When you feel small, your finances shrink with you. When you feel powerful, your finances expand with you. When you operate from fear, money hides. When you operate from courage, money appears. When you cling tightly from scarcity, money escapes. When you trust fully from abundance, money flows. At some point, you understand that your financial breakthroughs don't come from working harder, but from elevating your consciousness, healing your emotional patterns, and releasing the beliefs that kept you trapped in scarcity for years, because the universe will never deliver wealth to a version of you designed for survival instead of expansion. You discover the spiritual law identity inflation. The more you expand who you believe you are, the more the universe expands what you are allowed to have. When your identity grows, your environment grows, your opportunities grow, your connections grow, your income grows, and your vision grows, because identity is the master frequency and money is simply the echo. You begin to feel money as a partnership rather than an enemy, recognizing that the universe wants to give you more, but will only do so when you stop mismanaging, undervaluing, or disrespecting the resources you already have, because one of the most powerful hidden laws of money is stewardship. Whatever you handle with wisdom multiplies, and whatever you handle with avoidance or fear diminishes. You start to see that abundance is tied to emotional discipline, because you cannot make wealthy decisions with a poverty mindset. You cannot create expansion while clinging to comfort. You cannot receive new blessings while holding on to old wounds. You cannot elevate your life while shrinking your energy. You wake up to the truth that money is a multiplier of your internal state. If you are grounded, wealth amplifies your stability. If you are chaotic, wealth amplifies your chaos. If you are generous, wealth amplifies your impact. If you are fearful, wealth amplifies your anxiety. You understand the spiritual law of clarity, which states that the universe cannot reward confusion. Unclear desires, conflicting beliefs, and inconsistent habits block manifestation, because the universe cannot deliver abundance to a mind that hasn't decided what it truly wants. You learn that the more specific your vision, the faster your manifestation, the more committed your behavior, the stronger your attraction, the more aligned your energy, the smoother your path becomes. You discover the law of emotional generosity, not generosity with money, but generosity with mindset, meaning you must learn to celebrate others' success without envy, because jealousy signals scarcity, but appreciation signals abundance, and the universe will never give you what you resent. Until you learn to emotionally bless wealth wherever you see it, you will block wealth from reaching you. You uncover the spiritual law of internal elevation, which teaches that every financial level requires a new emotional version of you, because money will rise only to the height of your emotional maturity. If you cannot handle stress, responsibility, decision-making, conflict, or uncertainty, you cannot hold wealth, because wealth increases responsibility, amplifies decisions, magnifies uncertainty, and expands your influence. You begin to see wealth as a spiritual partnership between your intention and the universe's intelligence, where your role is to align, act, believe, and expand, and the universe's role is to guide, deliver, match, and multiply. You learn that abundance grows in the soil of emotional safety, when you feel safe to dream bigger, safe to take risks, safe to fail, safe to try again, safe to evolve, and safe to expand. The universe meets that safety with opportunity, because emotional security creates energetic space for growth. You awaken to the law, energetic integrity. When your thoughts, habits, words, and actions are aligned with abundance, the universe responds instantly. But when you think abundance and act scarcity, or speak abundance and live fear, or desire expansion but choose comfort, the universe cannot deliver, because you are sending mixed frequencies. You begin to understand that abundance is achieved the moment you stop asking how long will it take, and start asking how far can I go, because the universe rewards those who are willing to walk without deadlines, who are willing to trust the process, who are willing to embody patience rather than anxiety, and who are willing to become the version of themselves that abundance has been waiting for. You realize the law of spiritual reciprocity. Every blessing you receive is connected to a blessing you must give, not in a transactional sense, but in a vibrational sense. Expansion requires circulation, and circulation requires openness, and openness requires trust. You learn that your financial reality expands at the speed of your emotional healing, meaning the faster you release guilt, shame, fear, resentment, procrastination, self-doubt, and old survival patterns, the faster abundance flows into your life, because the universe does not withhold wealth. You withhold permission. You understand the law of divine discomfort. When the universe wants to elevate you, it removes your comfort zones, destabilizes your old patterns, exposes your limitations, and pushes you to grow, because prosperity cannot be built on outdated identities or expired dreams. You begin to accept that pressure is not punishment but preparation, pruning is not loss but refinement, and challenges are not obstacles but realignments. Because the universe always shakes you before it shifts you. You learn that the more responsibility you claim for your financial life, the more power you gain over it, because victimhood is the vibration of stagnation, but ownership is the vibration of expansion. The universe cannot elevate someone who refuses to take command of their destiny. You uncover the law of decisive energy. The universe rewards decisive people because decisiveness signals readiness, and readiness activates abundance every time you hesitate. You lose momentum, but every time you commit fully, the universe rearranges itself to support your decision. You discover that procrastination is energetic self-sabotage, delaying the blessings that are already aligned with your path, while action accelerates manifestation and signals your desire to receive. You see the truth that your environment is a spiritual ecosystem, meaning everything around you influences your vibration, your home, your workspace, your friendships, your language, your habits, your routines, and the universe reflects the quality of that ecosystem back to you in the form of opportunities or obstacles. You learn that wealth requires spiritual discipline, controlling your thoughts, mastering your emotions, elevating your habits, strengthening your boundaries, protecting your energy, and prioritizing growth over comfort. You realize that money is not the goal, but the outcome. The goal is becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts abundance through identity, action, energy, and purpose. You understand the law of internal permission. Wealth enters the life of the person who finally believes they are allowed to have it, allowed to hold it, allowed to enjoy it, and allowed to expand it without guilt, fear, or apology. You begin to see that wealth is not a destination, but a frequency you tune into. And the more you align with that frequency, the more abundance becomes your natural state rather than your occasional experience. You learn that the law of bold intention states that the universe responds not to weak desires, but to powerful commitments, not to vague wishes, but to precise declarations, not to passive hope, but to fearless ambition, because the universe mirrors the intensity of your intention. You start noticing that when you speak abundance with conviction, opportunities appear. When you walk with certainty, doors open. When you act with confidence, resources align. When you commit with faith, the path clears. You learn that the universe rewards the courageous because courage is a declaration that you trust yourself, trust your path, trust your vision, and trust the process. You uncover the law of energetic elevation, which teaches that when you raise your vibration through gratitude, clarity, self-respect, discipline, generosity, and intention, the universe elevates your financial reality accordingly. You begin to feel abundance, not as something you chase, but as something you embody, something that rises from within you, something that becomes your default state rather than your distant dream. You learn that the universe does not respond to your words, it responds to your energy. Your behavior reveals your belief system, and your belief system shapes your financial destiny. You discover that wealth grows when you stop comparing your journey to others, because comparison is the energy of lack, while focus is the energy of expansion. When your vision becomes internal rather than external, the universe finally has space to deliver what is meant for you. You begin to understand the law of repetitive resonance. What you repeatedly do becomes who you are, and who you are determines what you attract. This is why wealthy habits create wealthy lives, while scarcity habits create scarcity cycles. You learn that money responds to momentum, meaning every small step you take builds energy that multiplies over time until it becomes a breakthrough, because the universe rewards movement. You understand that wealth requires a shift from emotional spending to intentional investment, from impulsive reactions to strategic decisions, from fear-based choices to purpose-driven action. You awaken to the truth that your mind is the greatest wealth creation tool you will ever possess. And when you master it, when you discipline your thoughts, elevate your beliefs, strengthen your focus, and expand your identity, the universe has no choice but to align your external world with your internal transformation. You discover the law of energetic reciprocity. What you give in focus, the universe gives in opportunity. What you give in discipline, the universe gives in reward. What you give in courage, the universe gives in expansion. What you give in faith, the universe gives in abundance. And finally, you come to understand that every spiritual law of money is ultimately a law of becoming. You do not just receive wealth, you grow into the person capable of holding it, honoring it, multiplying it, and transforming the world with it, because abundance is not something the universe gives lightly. It is something the universe entrusts to those who are willing to rise into their highest potential.